All right, welcome. Today we are diving headfirst into a political thriller that is just packed with secrets, spies, and one very important clue. See, we've got a high-born lady who arrives in a city of lies. She's on a secret mission to find an assassin. But here's the thing. In a place where everyone is watching, a secret is the most dangerous thing you can possibly have.
So, our story really centers on Catelyn Stark. And right now, she's nursing wounds that are so much more than physical. The fingers on her left hand, sliced right down to the bone while she was defending her young son Bran from an assassin. That constant, throbbing pain is this brutal, non-stop reminder of just how close she came to losing him. And that pain, along with the dagger that caused it, is exactly what's pushed her out of her home and straight into the capital city.
And this is the question that's driving everything. Catelyn isn't just looking for some simple justice. No, she's trying to unearth a conspiracy that she's terrified could rip the entire kingdom apart. Her search for the truth starts right now, and it's a journey deep into the belly of the beast, the political heart of the Seven Kingdoms.
So let's start where she has to start, with the one single piece of evidence she has. The only thing that connects this failed murder to a much wider, scarier plot. You see, this isn't just a weapon. It's a key.
The detail that changes everything here is the material, Valyrian steel. Okay, so this is not your average everyday knife. This stuff is incredibly rare, it's impossibly sharp, and it is wildly expensive. We're talking priceless. So Catelyn's entire mission hinges on finding its owner. She believes, and it makes sense, that if she can figure out who this fancy dagger belongs to, she can find the person who hired the assassin.
And this dangerous mission takes Catelyn right here, to King's Landing. A city that, from a distance probably looks magnificent. But when you get up close, it is a tangled, dirty web of power, poverty, and just paranoia. It is a terrible, terrible place to try and keep a secret.
She shows up with her most trusted knight, Sir Rodrik Castle, and as they're sailing into the harbor, they just see these massive symbols of power looming over them. The Red Keep, where the king lives, this fortress of pale red stone. Their plan seems simple enough, right? Don't go anywhere near the castle. Instead, find the master-at-arms somewhere safe, show him the dagger, and get a name. Easy.
What's really key here is how hard they're trying to stay anonymous. They pick a grimy, forgettable inn, not some fancy noble's estate. Sir Rodrik even shaves off these magnificent white whiskers he's had for decades, all in the hope that it'll make him unrecognizable. They are doing everything they possibly can to fly under the radar. But as we are about to see, it was all for nothing.
Because in King's Landing, someone is always listening. Someone always knows. Catelyn is just settling in, waiting for Sir Rodrik to come back, but instead of her trusted knight, she gets a loud, heavy pounding on her door.
It's the City Watch, the Gold Cloaks, but they're not there to arrest her. Their leader shows her a wax seal, and Catelyn's heart just sinks. It's a mockingbird, a symbol she knows all too well. She's been found, and just like that, her whole plan for secrecy has completely fallen apart.
And her discovery brings her face to face with the two most powerful and, let's be honest, shadowy figures in the entire capital. These are the men who trade in secrets the way other people trade in gold or grain.
Now, the man with that mockingbird seal is Pierre Baelish, but everyone calls him Littlefinger. And their history is, well, it's complicated. He grew up with her, he loved her from afar, and he very foolishly challenged her powerful fiancé to a duel for her hand, which, by the way, left him with a pretty nasty scar. She hasn't seen this guy in years, but she knows he is clever, he is ambitious, and he is absolutely not to be trusted.
But Littlefinger isn't alone. Oh no. He's brought along Lord Varys, the Master of Whispers. So on one side you have Littlefinger, the Master of Coin. He's charming, he's sly, and he is always playing an angle. And on the other you have Varys, the King's Spider. He's all polite and perfumed on the surface, but his entire existence is built on knowing things that he has no business knowing.
So how did they find her? Littlefinger explains it himself. It was Varys. Of course it was Varys. His vast network of spies, his little birds, he calls them, heard about a high-born lady arriving secretly from the north. And, thankfully, Varys came to Littlefinger first. But Catelyn has to be wondering why. Why him? Why her old childhood acquaintance?
And this brings us to the climax of Catelyn's entire secret mission. She's in a tower room in the Red Keep, surrounded by men she doesn't trust, and the truth, or at least somebody's version of it, is about to come out.
So, cornered and completely out of options, Catelyn decides to seize the moment. She is done with the games. She pulls that Valyrian steel dagger from under her cloak and just throws it on the table between them. She demands answers. She wants them to use their spy networks to find the owner.
And this is where the floor just drops out from under her. Varys, in this soft, polite voice, asks to see the dagger. He already knew. Her whole secret journey, the reason she risked absolutely everything to come here, it was never a secret at all. His little birds had already told him about the dagger that Sir Roderick was asking about down in the armory. Catelyn is still reeling from that revelation when Littlefinger drops an even bigger bombshell. He picks up the knife, he tests its balance, and then he just casually says that it belongs to him. To him, the man sitting right there in front of her. But wait a second, he wasn't at Winterfell, so how could it possibly be his?
Well, Littlefinger explains it all with this kind of sheepish grin. He says he lost the dagger in a bet during a big tourney not too long ago. He bet on the famous knight, Jaime Lannister, but oops, Jaime got knocked off his horse. And so Littlefinger had to give up his priceless blade to the person who won the wager against him.
And who won the dagger? Littlefinger says the name as Varys watches Catelyn's face like a hawk. Tyrion Lannister, the imp, the queen's own brother. And that accusation just hangs there in the air, a devastating and deceptively simple answer to her question.
And that's where we're going to leave it. Catelyn came to King's Landing for an answer, and Littlefinger gave her one. But the question is, can she trust him? A man she hasn't seen in years, a man famous for his ambition, in a city built entirely on lies. The most important thing to realize here is that this accusation, it isn't an ending. Oh no, it's the spark that's about to light a massive fire.